Hi, nice to see you again. Have you ever wondered how much do you have to pay for the open source software? That is the interesting question, right? Because after all, it's a public knowledge and everybody knows that the open source is for free. That you can use it as much you want, you do not have to pay anyone for the software, so it's just a win-win situation. However, the problem is that open source is free to use, not free like a free beer, and let me tell you exactly why. It might sound strange, but the price you have to pay for the open source software is that you do not pay for the open source software. Bear with me for a minute. First of all, open source is not pushed to follow market trends. Because you do not pay open source projects developer to develop software as you would like to see the software or the market would like to see the software, usually the open source software developers solve the problems they have in the way they fit is the best. They can happily ignore market because market is really... it's just something. Market cannot make open source software to solve problems in the way the market feels to. That means if you have a very specific need as the individual or the company or whatever, and you would like to save some money, that instead of buying a license for the software that is suited for you, tailored for you, customized for you, and instead use the open source, very often you might end up in a situation that you have to adjust to the way how open source software works, because there is nothing that can make the open source software work like you want it. This also means because you have not paid, you have no right to demand. That's as simple as that. It's free, so feel free to use it, but not feel free to tell open source software how to solve the problems. And trust me, open source developers can be really very sensitive when somebody tries to push them in that direction. So, your price for the amazing software that we are using was $0. You have zero right to demand any kind of the changes in the software that will make the software work like you expect. You can, yes, you can. You are encouraged to improve the software by yourself, to propose changes, to code the changes, to improve the software, but you cannot demand anybody else to do it for free. You pay nothing, you get nothing on this area. And finally, I think all of the open source licenses have a rule that says you use the software, you do it on your own. There is no customer support. There is no any kind of the support at all if the people in the community of the open source software are not like very much into helping you to solve your problem. Yes, in some of the cases, bigger companies that use the open source software allows you to buy an extra care packet when you can buy the support for the open source, which is free, but the support for the open source software might not be free. You might pay either with hard money for the extra plan or just pay with the need of hiring specialists on your side or learning how to use it, learning how to find bugs and learning how to fix bugs and learning how to live with the software that's not really fully tailored for your needs. So yes, open source is free. Open source is free to use, but every time you use something for free, there is a special thing that you have to pay, not always with money, but sometimes with time, with effort, with nerves, with irritation, with you name it, what. Because if you pay nothing, you have the right to expect absolutely nothing. Yes, you can improve the software, but you cannot make anyone to improve or change the open source software in the way that suits your needs. So next time, before you will decide to save a few bucks and instead of buying a commercial license to go with free, make the calculation if this is really cheaper. Because it might turn out that if you will have to pay extra for the extra customer support, it might be actually cheaper and simpler to get the license from somewhere. And also this means that if you will start using the open source software, you might have to just pay in the way. By the way, I am the open source developer. I'm not against open source. I'm just telling you what's the reality and how this thing can look like. So, free to use, not free as the free beer. Thank you very much for watching. Until the next one. Bye bye.